What's up everybody, it's CJ, and I'm back with another Barnacle Bay renovation video, and today I'm going to be tackling the Landgraab sell and swap. So this is the consignment store. This one is the one that comes in the bin, but if you have ambitions installed and you load up a world that doesn't have a consignment shop, the game will just automatically place it here. I didn't know this until I looked it up, but apparently Adventureland and some of the later store worlds, that doesn't happen. Like, you just won't get one. I guess you'll have to place it down manually. I did not know that until I looked it up on the Sims wiki, which is kind of interesting. So I'm guessing you just don't get one in Midnight Hollow. Like, that's wild. And I guess also Roaring Heights, maybe? I don't know. That's interesting. But either way, I wanted to renovate this lot today, y'all, because I am low-key running out of smaller lots to furnish. I know I've been saying this a while, but it's really true, yo. I think I have a couple more, but pretty soon I'm gonna have to rip off the band-aid and tackle these big lots in the world. And y'all, some of those lots, ooh, I don't know. I'm gonna have to just mentally prepare for some of them. But until then, we're focusing on this one today. Now, I gotta say, y'all, I quite liked the outside. I didn't think I was gonna like it. Like, mentally, I had already prepared to just do everything over. Like, maybe not bulldoze, but just kind of like just change a bunch of stuff. But honestly, I didn't really have to do that today. As you can see, I did even out one of the sides of the building, but I kind of like the idea of having the fence at the top to kind of like give more detail. So all I really did was I put it at an angle, and then I had a little extra space left over, and I was able to put the sign for the consignment shop. So like, I don't know, everything kind of just came together, and it just looks good. I even kept the original wallpaper. I kept the awnings. Like I said, yo, I didn't really change too much outside. Sometimes I feel like I have to remind myself that, like, CJ, it's okay to just do little basic tweaks here and there. I don't always have to go all out and go crazy with the renovations, even though I do love doing that. Sometimes it's just nice to change like one or two things, maybe change the wallpaper or like make some things even, and then, you know, it can still look nice. Because like, this build isn't horrible. It is an ambitions build, and if you don't know, some of the builds for that pack are just, I don't know. I think it has like broken lighting or something. If you can see right now, the inside of the consignment store is dark, but sometimes even if you turn the lights on, it'll still be dark. And I don't know if it's because of like a split leveling kind of thing, or if it's just something that broke and they just never fixed it. Who knows? But some of the ambition lots have that issue. Even the salon has the same issue. So what you have to do to kind of fix it is, what I like to do is I just like to turn off all the lights. So if you're in build and buy mode, you can shift click on a light. So just hold on the shift button and click with your mouse. And if you hover over a light or a lamp, you'll see a little like cogwheel. That's how you know that you're doing it right. So you want to click on it. And then I like to just turn all the lights off. And then what you're going to do is like shift click the light again, and then you're going to change the color to white. So the color of the light, change it to white, and then if you turn them on, it should make a difference. But in my opinion, sometimes, I mean, that does help, but I also kind of feel like sometimes it's a little bit too dark still, so I like to use by debug lights. But that's essentially how you fix the problem. I don't know what causes that. Someone told me in a comment a long time ago, and I'm so glad they told me, because I did not know how to fix that. That's essentially what I had to do with this lot, you know. And also, yo, as you can see, the outside is coming together. I love the idea of these trees out in front. I was gonna use all of the same tree, but then I noticed that like them being all filled in was just so busy in the front. So I was like, why don't we just kind of have two filled in trees and then two like trees that are kind of like growing back, maybe, or maybe the leaves are falling, I don't know. That way it kind of just doesn't look as busy. And these trees are similar. I want to say the filled in ones are from base game, and then the other two are from Into the Future, or they could just be all Into the Future. I don't remember. I still think it looks a lot better, and it allows you to see some of the other objects, because my little headcanon for the building is that whoever owns this, maybe they got a grant, maybe they took out a loan. I like the idea of them just being able to have money to renovate the consignment store, because like, this looks like one of those places that have been in a town forever, okay? Your grandma used to come here when she was little, you know what I'm saying? Like, you used to come here all the time when you were little. Your kids might come here. It's just kind of giving that kind of vibe, but I feel like it needed to be, I don't want to say like modernized, but just made to be better. They remodeled, but they kept the original vibe, if that makes sense. So as you can see, we're on the inside, and yes, y'all, you already know I had to use the by debug lights. Most of us know what that is, but if you don't know, it's just, you have to put in a cheat code. So testing cheats enabled true, and then you have to go in again and put by debug on. And then if you go into build and buy mode, you should see like a question mark and like a little square. You click on that, and then you'll have access to the debug menu. If you're familiar with the Sims 4 build mode, it's kind of the same in a way, like the same idea. But essentially, we have these by debug lights, and I love them down. One, they're free, and two, they just really help illuminate a space, because the Sims 3, is, in my opinion, a dark game in terms of lighting. That's why I like to use lighting mods and G-Shade, and especially these lights, because it's just like sometimes the lighting is just so dark, and I need to be able to see what I'm doing, especially if I'm going to do this for like a video or stream or something. I got to see what I'm doing. So I'm using by debug lights today, and I like some of the original ideas of this lot. I can't lie, like I said, the lot is not the best lot I've ever seen, but it's not the worst. It gets the job done. It's a consignment store. I just kind of felt like I needed to just add more in here, right? Because I know, like, for, you know, the Sims team, they have object limits, I'm sure, and you want to make sure that things can function properly, but, like, I want to put a lot of stuff in here. So the first thing I wanted to do was change the wallpaper. I went with a beige, maybe like a, not really peachy, maybe like an off-white kind of color, cream color, for the wallpaper. And then I'm having this tropical print as an accent. Listen, I was trying not to go overboard with the tropical aesthetic today. Like, listen, I was trying my best not to, but, like, you know, it's Barnacle Bay and I need it to, so you'll see. You'll see. There's some life preserves, there's some sailboats, but I think it all came together in the end. I also like the idea of the original store, so it had like different sections. There's like a clothes section, a furniture section, and just like some other stuff. So I wanted to kind of play into that. So the first area I start off in is where the clothes are. I kept most of the original mannequins, and I also kept the podiums that they were on. Of course, I recolored them, and then I wanted to kind of make this into its own dedicated space. So I'm using some carpet, and then I also used the half walls and the fence from the base game to kind of just make a little like separated space. And then I also got another clothes rack. So these are from Ambitions, and what I did was I move objects on, and then I moved them into each other, so they kind of have this cross or X design. And then, you know, it just kind of looks realistic that way. Like, I've been to a store with clothes racks looking like this before. It just kind of sucks though when it comes to consignment shops in The Sims 3, because it's like, man, I know you can buy stuff from the register, but I low-key wish that you could buy stuff, like, just go up to an object and buy it, you know? Like, if there's a mod for that, please let me know, because I wish they would have done that for the pack. That would have made the pack a cajillion times better, in my opinion. Like, ugh. I love Ambitions already, but, like, that would have just really helped a lot. You may have noticed that there was, like, this wall design with mirrors on it to kind of have, like, a trifold mirror, and I like the idea of it, but it was kind of too big, and then when I put it up against the wall, it was making the space a lot darker. And then I remember that we have those like trifold mirrors in the game anyway as like store content, so I got rid of the makeshift one and I just put like an actual mirror down for the clothes section. And then I almost forgot that there's actually shoes in the game, so I got a couple of shoe racks after the fact and I placed them down. And then I was kind of inspired too by this drafting table, so you can use it for the stylist career for The Sims 3, but I like the idea of maybe having like an art section in the consignment store, because like the way that I think about consignment stores are like they're kind of like antique shops or thrift shops. They just kind of have a bunch of stuff, something that you might need, something that you may not need. It's going to be some mismatched things thrown in there, so I kind of wanted to have fun today with it. I have like a newer easel, but I also have one that was clearly used. Same thing with like the little tables. One is kind of new, the other one is kind of used. I also put some art on the wall as well. Like, I was really just trying to like mix and match with a bunch of stuff. I have some street art kit objects on the ground as well. And then I like the idea of there being a fountain or something in the middle of the lot. So I was gonna use the founder's statue that I've been using a lot in the world, but I was like, maybe that's a little bit too big for a lot like this. So I found this other fountain that has like a kraken or like a squid or whatever, and I was like, bro, I got to use this one today. So I couldn't really put it on a high platform like I wanted to, but I used a smaller platform, and I just kind of put rope around it to kind of make it look kind of fancy-ish. So you'll see that there's like this really nice fountain when you first come in. I did go back later and I found the cannon object. I think that one came with Barnacle Bay. I also put a cannon beside it because, like, you know, pirates, it's the theme of the world and stuff. Like, I kind of see this as like also like a touristy spot in a way. You know, like, maybe if you just need something quick, like maybe if you just need like a spare t-shirt, or maybe you want to try to get something that could be like antique in a way, you would come here on vacation, you know? So yeah, like, I didn't really want this to be too similar to the shopping strip that I did a couple of months ago, because with that one we actually have like a touristy like gift shop. So I didn't really want this to have gift shop energy per se, more just like stuff for both locals and tourists. So maybe you can come and get something at a good deal or a good price. Maybe get some nice t-shirts, some vintage t-shirts, you know? So I don't know. I see the t-shirt section as like the men's section, because like we don't really have any masculine like mannequins in The Sims 3. Like there's technically a couple that come with Into the Future, but it's a different vibe. I wish we would have got like an actual mannequin object, like a classical one. So I kind of see the t-shirt section as like the masculine area. I mean, it's The Sims, it doesn't really matter, but I kind of just see it as more like maybe you want to come get like a dad shirt or like an uncle shirt or something like that. You know what I mean? So we gotta have that section. And then I also wanted to put some, I guess, antique pirate ship objects. So I put a couple of those, obviously. I also included a costume chest. There's also like an actual chest object that I forgot about. So I went back and I added that like by where the counter is. So you'll see that like maybe later in the video. One thing that I wanted to do for sure is I wanted to like move these bathrooms over. This lot comes with a back door. And I knew that I wanted to put some stuff in the back, so I just moved the door over to like where the cashiers would be, and then I have the bathrooms off to the side. That to me just made more sense. I didn't really have a lot to say about the bathrooms, honestly. They're just kind of like bathrooms, you know. I did put a urinal in the men's room, but like it's just a bathroom. Now when it comes to this section over here with the register, I don't know what I was doing with these half walls, y'all. I thought I was cooking, but like it wasn't really... yeah, it wasn't really given. I did keep a couple of them and I have them open so like the employees could come and go. And then maybe I like to think that maybe if there's like a customer that maybe wants to see something behind the counter, because I have like a fish sculpture. There's like some other things back here that are, in my opinion, maybe they're like a little bit more antique. They don't want to like have them on the floor because they don't want people to like break them accident. So maybe if you're like serious enough, you could come behind here and like look up close to see if you want to buy it, you know? And then funny enough, y'all, I was trying to find, so like there's like a clutter object version of the consignment register and I could not find it to save my life. Like I know there's the one from Ambitions and I know that we have these other ones that come with University, and I was like, well, maybe I can use those. So you'll see that I have a couple of mismatched registers in that section, but like towards the very end, like literally before I was like saved and turned the game off, I found the decorative ones, so I was able to go back and have matching cash registers. So the one in the middle is the one where the employee will spawn, but the other two are just for show. But like, you know, you could imagine that maybe this place has a couple different employees at one time, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, y'all, we're on to the bathroom now. Don't really have much to say about the bathroom. I did recolor the wallpaper in here just so it could kind of stand out. So for the men's room, it's kind of like a more bluey kind of color scheme, and for like the women's room, it's kind of like a reddish kind of pinky kind of color. I just wanted some different colors because I feel like when you have a back wall like this and it's just all the same, it kind of just looks a little busy. So I wanted to kind of slightly change the color in there. And then this is just me now, y'all, kind of going in and just adding random clutter, because I had to kind of remind myself too that like with places like this, especially older places like this, things are going to be neat, but they're not going to be like organized necessarily. So I was really just trying to go in and just add a bunch of random stuff. Again, kind of sucks that you can't just walk off the street and buy this stuff. Like suppose you wanted a rocking chair for your sim, well, too bad. You got to go get one from the buy and build catalog. Essentially, I just wanted to put some random stuff. I like the table that was here, but I did change the chairs out with the ones from Seasons instead. I kept the china cabinet because I quite like it. And then I also found this antique toy shelf with just like old toys. It comes from Midnight Hollow. I think it's from the gold edition. You'll probably see that I skip around a lot with this section of the build. I was just trying to like put a bunch of stuff and have everything kind of fit together. I also have another table that has like mismatched chairs, because like in a place like this, y'all, it's probably rare to find a complete set of something. I feel like at most you may find like 2 or 3 pieces that kind of go together, but the rest is just kind of like not there or at a different place. So I was just trying to like put things that kind of had cohesion, but also were kind of like a little bit of mismatch. Same thing with these plants. It's just a bunch of just mismatched plants. You know, I like to think of these as being artificial, because I don't really see anyone like watering these regularly. So these are kind of like artificial plants. And then you'll see that when we get over to the furniture section, I'm using the couches that come with the Diesel stuff pack. I rarely ever use those couches or chairs, like ever. To me, they kind of look like Alpha CC, but I never really used these. And I was like, you know what? Why don't we use them today? So I kind of make them look a little bit older, with the color scheme and stuff, but I kind of liked it. So maybe at least with this set, you'll have a couch and 2 chairs that kind of go together, you know? The ottoman is not from the original set. Neither is the surfboard coffee table. They're both from 2 different things. But I thought it was just kind of funny to kind of just have like a complete set, but then some random stuff kind of around it, you know? But In the end, y'all, that's basically everything for the entire video. The only really thing I do now is I'm just, like I said, just adding random clutter here and there. I also wanted to fence in the back of the lot, and then you'll see that I put a bunch of just random stuff out there. We have boxes, there's a couple of dumpsters. I put a park bench back there too in case employees want to just take a break or something. It's just a bunch of random stuff. There's also like this boat, this boat object that's kind of broken. I just like to think that someone tried to sell this to the place and they were like, yeah, we're not going to buy this, but we can take it off your hands. And then they just kind of put it by the dumpster. But in the end, y'all, that's basically everything for the entire video. I had so much fun furnishing this one today, so hopefully you'll enjoy this lot too. If you want to download it, I am going to leave it linked down below. Just know it does use store content. I mean, a good amount of store content. But that's basically everything for the video, so if you did enjoy it, please be sure to leave a like, comment something down below. Follow me over on Twitch where I stream a lot more The Sims, and if this is your first time seeing this video, this is a series, by the way. I'm trying to fix up all of the lots in Barnacle Bay, which is one of the store worlds for The Sims 3. It was like one of the first ones, and it has really bad builds. So slowly but surely we're getting through these builds. It has been a process thus far, but if you want to go back and like watch some of the other videos, I'll leave a link to the playlist down below as well. But anyway, y'all, that is all that I have for this one, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye! Thanks for watching!